Welcome. Today we are going to discuss zero trust networks. Specifically, we'll be covering the modern security architecture principles behind this approach. Let's define zero trust. Zero trust is a security framework. It mandates that all users, whether they are inside or outside of the organization's network, must be authenticated, authorized, and continuously validated before they are granted access to applications and data. Its core principles are: never trust, always verify, assume breach, verify explicitly, provide least privilege access, and finally, ensure continuous monitoring and validation. Now, let's compare the traditional perimeter model with the zero trust model. In the traditional perimeter model, trust is assumed for users inside the network. The focus is on defending the perimeter. Once inside, users have relatively free movement within the network. Virtual private networks, or VPNs, provide trusted access to internal resources. However, in the zero trust model, there is no implicit trust based on network location. Microperimeters are set up around each resource. Continuous verification is required for all access requests. Least privilege access is strictly enforced. The core pillars of zero trust are identity verification, device security, and least privilege access. Identity verification involves strict verification for all users, regardless of their location. This includes multi-factor authentication, risk-based authentication, continuous identity validation, and contextual access policies. Device security ensures that all devices meet security standards before granting access. This involves device health verification, endpoint protection, security posture assessment, and device inventory management. Least privilege access limits access rights to only what is necessary for users to perform their jobs. This includes just-in-time access, role-based access control, microsegmentation, and privilege escalation controls. Here's a reference architecture of a zero trust network. Key components include the policy engine, which is the central decision point that evaluates access requests against policies. The policy administrator, which establishes and manages session-specific connections between subjects and resources. The policy enforcement point, which enables, monitors, and terminates connections between subject and resource. The identity provider, which authenticates users and provides identity attributes. And finally, continuous monitoring, which collects data about resource access and security posture. Here are some steps involved in implementing zero trust. First, identify sensitive data by mapping data flows and classifying information based on sensitivity. Next, define a trust algorithm by creating policies for access based on identity, context, and risk. Then, implement microsegmentation to isolate resources and limit lateral movement. Finally, deploy monitoring to establish continuous monitoring and analytics. Here's a basic example of how a zero trust policy definition would look like. The access policy to a resource such as financial database can be defined with conditions for the user identity to be verified, the device to be compliant, the network to be secure, and the risk to be low. If all of these conditions are met, then access to the database would be allowed. Let's examine some enabling technologies that play a crucial role in implementing a zero trust architecture. In authentication and identity, multi-factor authentication, or MFA, combines multiple verification methods. An identity provider, or IDP, offers centralized identity management. Single sign-on, or SSO, provides unified authentication across services. For network security, microsegmentation provides fine-grained network isolation. Software-defined perimeter offers dynamic access control to resources. Secure Access Service Edge, or SASE, delivers cloud-based security services. For monitoring and analytics, Security Information and Event Management, or SIEM, provides real-time analysis of security alerts. User and Entity Behavior Analytics, or UEBA, helps with anomaly detection in user behavior. In policy enforcement, Cloud Access Security Broker, or CASB, provides visibility and control for cloud services. Privileged Access Management, or PAM, offers controls for privileged accounts. There are some challenges with Zero Trust implementation. First, there is implementation complexity as Zero Trust requires significant changes to existing infrastructure and processes. Solutions include a phased implementation approach, starting with high-value assets and leveraging existing security investments. Another challenge is user experience impact, as additional security measures can create friction for users. Solutions include risk-based authentication, transparent security controls, and contextual access policies. Cost considerations can also be a challenge as implementing Zero Trust can require significant investment. Solutions include prioritizing based on risk assessment, leveraging cloud-based security services, and calculating the return on investment, including breach prevention. Finally, there is the challenge of legacy system integration, as older systems may not support modern authentication methods. Solutions include using proxies and gateways, implementing compensating controls, and adopting a gradual modernization strategy. Looking at future trends, we can expect to see AI-powered security with machine learning for advanced threat detection and automated response. Blockchain may be used for decentralized identity verification and management. Zero Trust principles will be applied to distributed edge environments with edge computing security. And passwordless authentication, using biometrics and behavioral analytics, will replace passwords. In summary, Zero Trust is a security framework, not a product. It assumes breach and verifies explicitly. It requires continuous monitoring and validation. It focuses on protecting data, not just networks. And its implementation should be phased and strategic. Remember, in a Zero Trust world, all network traffic is untrusted. We must verify anything and everything trying to connect to our systems. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.